Mini camp and very good little last month here, hanging around the Browns and really just showing off the field and on the field what he can do. What are your expectations for Shedeur this upcoming season?
Well, I think at the end, especially when the preseason starts, he's going to find a way to beat those guys out. That's just my opinion. The eye test tells me at the end of the day. Now, I've known him since he was a little kid, but I just think his makeup, what he's all about, felt like he got slighted in the draft, and I will agree with him. He did. Not saying maybe he should have been the first player picked. I'm not saying that, but I think there's a lot that went into that. Why he dropped so much. And I don't think it had anything to do with football. But the other things that go along with football, I think the glare of who he is, who his father is, I think a lot of teams were hesitant, worried that they didn't want that in their locker room. But when you meet the kid and you meet what he's about, he's a pro. He's a pro. He knows how to do things. He goes about it the right way. So I just think when the lights come on and they start playing in the preseason.
You think you know what happened in the NFL? Just pulled back the curtain on one of the most controversial draft slides in recent memory, and what he's revealing about Shedeur Sanders will make your blood boil. Teams didn't pass on Sanders because of his arm strength, his accuracy, or his football IQ. They passed on him because they were terrified of his last name. And now, Edwards is predicting that fear is about to make every single one of those franchises look absolutely foolish. This isn't your typical rookie hype story. This is about a systematic failure of NFL front offices, a young man who got screwed over by league politics. In for a moment, we're talking about NFL teams' billion-dollar organizations that claim to evaluate talent objectively, making personnel decisions based on factors that have absolutely nothing to do with the player's ability to play football. What were those other things that Edwards is talking about? He doesn't dance around it. I think the glare of who he is, who his father is, I think a lot of teams were hesitant, worried that they didn't want that in their locker room. Are you kidding me? NFL teams were afraid of Deion Sanders, one of the greatest athletes in sports. His assessment completely destroys the narrative that teams were trying to sell themselves. When you meet the kid and you meet what he's about, he's a pro. He's a pro. He knows how to do things. He goes about it the right way. So let me get this straight. Teams passed on a consummate professional because they were afraid of media attention. They let talent slip through their fingers because they were worried about press, conferences, and headlines. This is exactly the kind of short-sighted thinking that keeps bad franchises bad and allows smart organizations to capitalize on others' mistakes. Edwards acknowledges the challenge. There's only so many plays that you have allocated. In professional football, you only have so many reps. It's not like college football where you can stay out there for 3 hours with those kids. This is where coaching becomes crucial, where decisions have to be made, where the cream has to rise to the top. And Edwards has very specific ideas about how that evaluation process should work. If you have a young guy at the quarterback position, it's going to be critical that eventually he gets reps against the number one defense. How does he play against the one with the number one offensive line, and they got to go against the ones on defense? Picture that scenario for a moment. Sanders, under center, first team protection, facing a legitimate NFL defense that's trying to make him look foolish. That's when all the college stats and combined numbers become irrelevant. That's when you find out if a player can actually handle the speed and physicality of professional football. And that's when Edwards expects Sanders to separate himself from every other quarterback in Cleveland's facility. When the lights, come on, look out. I think he's going to nowhere to go but up. Cleveland fans have suffered through so much disappointment that they're willing to embrace hope in any form. A rookie quarterback represents possibility, potential, a chance for something different than the mediocrity they've endured for years. Edwards is crystal clear about what he thinks Cleveland should do. I think you got to start the rookie. I just do. You drafted two of them. What did you draft them for? The bench and look at each other. You can't say, well, hey man, I'm going to put you on the shelf. What are you putting them on? Both of them should get a chance to start meaningful games. Can you imagine the chaos that would create? The week-to-week drama of not knowing who's starting at quarterback, the constant speculation, the media frenzy, the fan debates that would rage on social media and sports talk radio. It would be appointment television every single week. Yet, Edwards believes that's exactly what Cleveland needs to do to maximize their evaluation of these young players. You can't make informed decisions based on practice performance alone. You need to see how players. He's been in NFL locker rooms, has seen how the game works at the highest level, understands what it takes to earn respect from older players. Edwards emphasizes just how crucial this aspect of the evaluation will be. Can he lead the team? Can he lead a veteran group of guys? This is a 3 to 4 team. Veterans, when you're a veteran guy, your clock's ticking. You might have another year or two and you don't want to go through another 3 to 14 season. Think about being in that position as a veteran player. You're 28, 29, maybe 30, or he's setting up Sanders for one of the most spectacular failures in recent memory. There's no middle ground here, no room for moral victories. Or he showed promise evaluations. Sanders will either prove that NFL teams made a massive mistake in the draft, or he'll confirm that the concerns about him were justified all along. Edwards has made his choice, has staked his reputation on a prediction that could define both Sanders' career and Cleveland's future. The question now is whether Sanders can live up to the faith that Edwards has placed in him. Can he prove that all those teams are ready for the NFL spotlight? The answer will define not just Sanders' career, but possibly the next decade of Cleveland Browns football. What do you think? Is Herm Edwards a prophet, or is he about to eat his words? Let me know in the comments.